There's one prehistoric discovery that I think is the most important of all time. And I know that's a bold statement because there are so many incredible discoveries out there. The most important prehistoric discovery is fire. That's right. This ordinary element that we take for granted today was such a monumental discovery that it literally changed what it meant to be human. For a long time, scientists thought that fire was discovered independently by different human species all around the world at roughly the same time. They were smart, curious, and adventurous. But perhaps most importantly of all, they were apes. And that means they were primates. Didn't the discovery of fire help them get rid of their body hair and become smooth like modern humans? You bet it did. Because every single one of you watching this video right now owes your existence to fire. Without fire, humans wouldn't have thrived. Without thriving, there wouldn't be any of us. No humans, no YouTube videos, no witty narration to accompany them. Fire changed everything. It changed what we eat, where we live, what we wear. It even changed the very definition of what it means to be human. As our ape-like ancestors gradually became more human, they started to lose their body hair. And this happened because of fire. Losing body hair makes it easier to cool off since sweating evaporates and carries heat away from the body. But it also helps to protect against the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. And where do we get the vitamin necessary to produce the protective ozone layer that shields us from the sun S rays? From the sea. As humans began to spend more and more time near the coast, gathering shellfish and seaweed, they were exposed to UV radiation from the sun. But they were also getting large amounts of vitamin D. Thanks to the ozone layer, it was the perfect symbiotic relationship. Humans helped the environment and the environment helped humans. But wait a minute. If our ancestors were apes, then aren't we supposed to be related to chimps and bonobos? Well, yes, but that didn't happen until much later in human history. Until recently, scientists believed that the split between the chimp-human lineage and the bonobo human lineage occurred 6 million years ago. But in 2018, a genetic study pushed that date back to just 2 million years ago. This means that our ancestors have plenty of time to share the planet with several different human species, some of whom may have looked a lot like chimps. Some species were more successful than others, and some, like Homo habilis, had a relatively short run on the Earth. But one thing that all these species had in common was their ape-like appearance. They walked on 2 legs, but they also had a lot of body hair. They were probably pretty hairy. But now we know that isn't true. Because in 1969, a team of Soviet archaeologists found evidence that humans were using fire way earlier than previously thought, and that they learned the trick from a very unlikely source. They found charred bones at a site in Uzbekistan that suggested that early humans were using fire 790,000 years ago. But the real shocker came when they discovered that the bones showed clear signs of having been cracked open using stone tools. So whoever was using fire wasn't doing it by accident. But if it wasn't humans, then who was using fire all those years ago? Unfortunately, the exact identity of the species that used fire has been lost to history. Their bones didn't preserve, and the archaeological record has no way of telling us what their brains looked like. But based on the evidence, scientists believe that whoever it was, they probably looked something like Homo erectus. Before fire, our distant ancestors were living a nomadic life, constantly on the move in search of food. They lived in small groups, and they had to spend a great deal of their time just trying to survive. Life was scary and dangerous. The ancestors of humans shared this world with saber-toothed cats, giant short-faced bears, and dire wolves, not to mention rival groups of humans who would have happily stolen their food or even killed them for it. We found fossilized poop that's 100,000 years old. Cooking also made food safer to eat by killing off dangerous bacteria. And it wasn't just about what fire could do for them, but what it could do to their enemies. With a spear made of sharpened wood and a shield made of animal hide, our ancestors could now fight back against predators and rival groups. Humans could even venture into the cold northern climates, where larger prey like bison and reindeer lived, because fire provided a way to keep warm. And when our ancestors settled down and no longer had to wander in search of food, fire played a huge role in that too. Villages were safer than nomadic encampments. People could earn their food instead of constantly searching for it. And that meant there was more time to do things like make art, develop language, and just hang out. In short, fire allowed humans to flourish in a way that no other species could. We've discovered ancient cave art that's 45,000 years old. And we even found the oldest known human-made structure in the world that's 320,000 years old. But none of these discoveries changed the course of human history like one other discovery did. Hi, it's me and this is my channel. But with fire, everything changed. It gave our ancestors the ability to cook their food, which made them more nutrients and gave them a caloric advantage over other animals. But how did our ancestors first learn to use fire? Homo erectus is famous for being the first human species to leave Africa and spread across the globe. But why are we talking about how hairy our ancestors were? Okay, but why does any of this matter? Why should you care about how hairy our ancestors were? Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, you can watch another one here.